When Hulk smashes even the strongest heroes, head for the hills. The Incredible Hulk is just that, incredible. He is pretty universally known as one of the strongest heroes in the Marvel Universe, and therefore is often able to go toe-to-toe with some of the most powerful characters in the world. He may be able to match strength with just about anyone, and has even been able to overcome others with powers beyond just punching stuff. The Hulk, while wild and unpredictable, rarely has a reason to fight against his fellow heroes, but when he does, oh boy, look out.
Hulk smash rock, Einstein.
Let's take a look at some of the strongest heroes the Hulk has defeated right now. The Master of the Mystic Arts is definitely one tough cookie, and definitely a shift from the usual smash everything style of fighting that the Hulk is so used to. Most of the heroes Hulk fights are not often his opponent, and sometimes they're even holding back because they don't want to hurt their friend Bruce. However, following the Illuminati's banishment of the Hulk from Earth, his subsequent creation of a new life with a family and losing that family, leading to Hulk's return, a totally in-control Hulk waged war on the entire world. He was not mindlessly smashing everything, but instead wanted revenge on those who sent him away, and all those who stood in his way. One of his toughest opponents was Doctor Strange. In order to stop the Hulk, Doctor Strange broke some magic rules and summoned the power of a demon that nearly overtook him. This additional power was still no match for the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk destroyed Doctor Strange, crushed his hands so that he could not cast spells, and forced him to retreat after he nearly lost his soul to a demon. Needless to say, the big green guy won. The title of Strongest Avenger has often been fought over by the Hulk and the God of Thunder, Thor.
Voice activation required.
Banner.
Welcome, Strongest Avenger.
These two have clashed on multiple occasions, and it's usually Thor who stands the best chance at beating the Green Giant when he loses control. In the comics, their battles go back and forth, but in the MCU, we've already seen the Hulk take down Thor. Their first fight on the Avengers helicarrier was interrupted by a jet that took Hulk out of the fight. However, in Thor Ragnarok, the two are pit up against each other in a gladiatorial arena, and made to do battle for sport.
I know we're friends. This is crazy. I don't want to hurt you.
Now, many people believe Thor won this fight, and though there were some, let's call it shenanigans from the Grand Master, the Hulk was able to leap into the air and knock Thor out. Even in a more fair fight, I think this battle would go on for a long time, and the Hulk would probably win about half of them. Yup, get ready to cry over a bromance gone bad. The two science bros of the MCU may have become some of the best of friends, bonding over their intelligence and Tony helping Bruce to learn that he can control the power inside him. But it's true that these two have faced off multiple times. In the MCU and Avengers Age of Ultron, we've actually only seen it once, and surprisingly Tony, using his Hulkbuster armor, was actually able to come out on top. The comics, however, are a different story. The very same World War Hulk event saw Tony as a member of the Illuminati Bruce so badly wanted revenge against. You see, the angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he becomes, meaning no matter how big and bad Tony builds his suits, they will eventually crumble under the might of the Hulk. Even with his best version of the Hulkbuster armor, this angry of a Hulk was able to remind Tony that he's literally just a man in a can.
I'm sorry.
We just saw the first live-action battle between these two, and even though Hulk briefly lost his bar, I think it's safe to say he came out on top. Granted, Jennifer Walters is just beginning to experience her powers, so the fact that she did as well as she did shows a whole lot of promise. In the comics, however, the two have squared off numerous times. She-Hulk is definitely an incredible force, and has a legal savvy that Bruce Banner could never accomplish. But when the two fight, Bruce shows just how incredible he is, and how there may be multiple Hulks, but he more often than not will come out on top. I don't know if I'll be able to say that forever, as She-Hulk is just getting started. The leader of the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, was instrumental in the decision to trick the Hulk and send him off planet. This set up for his ultimate revenge in the World War Hulk storyline, when he wanted to embarrass the Illuminati for what they did. After defeating powerful members, the Hulk decided to play with his food. He made some of the members of the Illuminati fight in a gladiatorial match on Earth, to mirror what he had to go through on the planet he was sent to by the people he considered his friends. He was able to defeat Reed Richards and use obedience discs to make him fight his fellow Illuminati members. All the brains in the world couldn't stop the uncontrollable rage of Hulk during this storyline, and not only was Mr. Fantastic defeated by the Hulk, but he was put on display for the world to see. Mr. Fantastic may be the leader of the Fantastic Four, But if they had to pick someone to go up against the Hulk, it's pretty clear that it should be Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. As the respective bulldozers of their teams, this was a fight fans wanted to happen for a long time. So naturally, the Hulk got mad and the Thing was in the way. Hulk is definitely stronger than the Thing, but the pretty much impervious rock that Ben Grimm is made out of would really help him even the fight out. Or at least that's what you would think, but no. When the Hulk is at his angriest, even the strongest members of the Fantastic Four are simply no match. Hulk has punched harder things. No pun intended. Black Bolt is easily one of the strongest heroes around. His supersonic voice has the ability to level buildings at a whisper, destroy cities at a dull roar, and should he exclaim as loud as he can, entire planets could be wiped off the face of the map. Black Bolt was yet another member of the Illuminati, responsible for shooting the Hulk into space. He also happened to be the first hero that Hulk came across during his revenge tour in the World War Hulk storyline. This is because Black Bolt and the Inhumans are stationed on the moon. This was Hulk's first stop when he faced off against the imposing leader. To everyone's surprise, Hulk survived a full sonic blast from Black Bolt and took the head of the Inhumans down, making his way to Earth to destroy everyone else. Everyone's favorite teenage web slinger has had numerous battles with the big green guy. And no, I'm not talking about the bank robber wearing the plastic Hulk mask. Come to think of it, Spider-Man really didn't win that one either. No, very often in the comics, the Hulk loses control and it is up to Spider-Man to lead him away from the people in danger of his rage. These fights rarely go well for Peter. One of their most definitive fights lasted several issues and really only ended because the Hulk got bored, leaving Spider-Man completely unconscious and rescued by the military. Spider-Man's tactics and fighting style probably just annoy the Hulk at best, leading to him becoming angrier and angrier. Peter is definitely one of the strongest heroes to exist, but one of the strongest just isn't enough when you're up against basically the strongest. The Hulk has beaten a countless number of X-Men, which is fair because most of the ones you match him up against really would be no contest. During his revenge against Charles Xavier as a member of the Illuminati, Hulk took out the entire X-Men team. But if we had to pick one to take the Hulk on, it would probably be the metal giant Colossus. Colossus has incredible strength and durability thanks to his ability to turn his body into metal. It's likely that he would be the best matchup for the Hulk, but unfortunately he just could not get the job done either. The Hulk had no problem ripping through the family of Charles Xavier, and while Colossus may have put up a good fight, he definitely left with a few new dents. In the comic book run called The Ultimates, we are introduced to slight variations of the Avengers, including the Hulk. This version of the Hulk, in all his sound reasoning and logic, decided he wasn't strong enough and took a version of the Super Soldier Serum. Needless to say, there were some adverse effects. This Hulk became so uncontrollable that this version's Avengers stood no chance. Prior to the Hulk's eventual defeat thanks to some tiny antics by the Wasp, he beat up on the best of them, but none more brutally than Hank Pym, at this point known as Giant Man. This drugged up version of the Hulk was even able to break the giant hero's jaw, which during the fight was multiple times the size of him. Unfortunately, this was the ultimate bigger they are, harder they fall metaphor played out, and I don't think Hank really appreciated it. Doc Samson is a hero who actually owes thanks to the Hulk for his powers. They come from excess gamma radiation that was siphoned from Bruce Banner directly. While there is no physical change, Doc Samson has superhuman strength and agility, but unfortunately it is nowhere near the levels of the power source. Samson spends much of his time trying to cure the Hulk, but naturally when tangling with gamma radiation, things tend not to go to plan. Doc Samson is a hero, but often a romantic rival to Bruce, and therefore it's safe to say the two clash quite a bit. Doc Samson is strong enough to survive these encounters, but will likely never be strong enough to win. The Sentry has been called the Superman of the Marvel Universe. Robbie Reynolds is an incredibly powerful hero with a dark side. His incredible power often makes him a nuclear deterrent that makes villains afraid to even try. The Sentry really only intervenes when there is no other choice. This was the case at the end of the World War Hulk storyline when Hulk had ravaged the entire planet with his anger. Apparently making the members of the Illuminati fight each other in a gladiator ring was a step too far. The Sentry fights the Green Giant in an attempt to end his tyranny over the planet. But even to his surprise, the Hulk put up an incredible fight. The fight ended with the two heroes reverting back to their human form, given that their power matched up against each other was too great. Unfortunately for Robbie, Bruce was able to transform back almost immediately, making him the winner of this epic showdown. The Hulk vs. Wolverine is the ultimate unstoppable force meets immovable object fight in comics.
I don't suppose you got any interest in talking this out.
The two have done battle many times, and there's never one clear winner. Even in the Old Man Logan storyline, after being eaten by the Hulk, Logan is still able to heal and tear the Hulk apart from the inside. When these two fight, it's so entertaining that they even got their own series called Wolverine vs. Hulk, and an animated movie. With the amount of times these two have fought, Hulk is bound to come out on top occasionally, though it is often a series of smash, heal, and repeat. Should Wolverine make his way to the MCU, Hulk better hope it's the old version with adamantium poisoning, slower reflexes, and a healing factor that has more or less stopped working. Enhanced by an Infinity Stone, Captain Marvel is one of the strongest heroes in Marvel Comics. Carol Danvers has proven herself to be an incredible force, destroying entire fleets of ships and even fighting Thanos one-on-one. In the World War Hulk storyline, Captain Marvel was one of the heroes who got in Hulk's way, trying to calm him down and make him remember who his friends were. Unfortunately, this was one of the most powerful versions of the Hulk we would ever see, capable of breaking entire worlds. In this state, Carol was no match, and Hulk defeated her easily. I would like to see an enraged Hulk fight Carol in the MCU, but something tells me it might go a little bit differently than it did in the comics. Unfortunately, fully grown rhinos and angry cousins are nothing when compared to the might of the Incredible Hulk. The King of Wakanda is a wise ruler, and while T'Challa has overcome some incredible, powerful enemies,
I made it rain.
I don't think he's quite ready for what the Hulk has to offer. When he turns against those, he usually fights with. Black Panther and the Hulk have done battle in comics, and Black Panther often serves the role that so many other heroes do, in trying to bring back Bruce from behind the wall of anger that is the Hulk. T'Challa and Bruce have almost opposite fighting styles, as T'Challa uses speed and reflexes against the pure unstoppable force that is Bruce Banner. On certain days, quickness and agility might win out, but in just about every other occasion, not so much. Captain America is one of the strongest heroes of all time, but the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan is unfortunately no match for the Hulk.
I knew it.
On several different occasions, Captain America has tried to step in and be the hero to stop Hulk from one of his violent rampages. While he serves as a good distraction and in many instances a good fight for the green guy, there is simply no comparison. Steve Rogers may show incredible instances of power on certain occasions, but they are rarely against his friend and teammate Bruce Banner. It's in these instances that Steve just tries to see how long he can last against the might of the Incredible Hulk before he ultimately takes the L. The spirit of vengeance inhabits the body of Johnny Blaze, making him the formidable hero known as Ghost Rider. Surprisingly, he and the Hulk have quite a history, and with his incredible powers like the Penance Stare and his control of Hell's Flames, he actually is a pretty decent match for the hulking Green Giant. However, when he tried to stop Hulk on his World War rampage, he discovered the true power of a really pissed off scientist. Even after knocking an entire skyscraper on the Hulk, Johnny Blaze was still knocked unconscious. At this point, the spirit of vengeance fully took over his body, but instead of continuing the fight, he rode off in search of those he deemed truly guilty. I guess smashing everything doesn't qualify. When Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross first transformed into the Red Hulk, the regular Hulk finally had a match worthy of his time. With an equal and sometimes greater amount of strength and a slightly better ability to control himself while in a Hulk state, the Red Hulk is one of the greatest adversaries, and sometimes allies, of Bruce Banner. However, there is nothing quite like the original, and during many of their battles in the comics, we have seen Bruce take the edge over this new imposing challenge. It's unfortunate this may never happen in the MCU, but Hulks seem to be multiplying at this point in time, so who knows? Look, I know he's had his ups and downs, but at least in the MCU, I think it's okay if you call Loki a hero.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
I get that there's some discrepancy, but he's done enough good, at least in the recent past, to earn the title, I think. Now that we can call Loki as such, let's not forget about the time he was utterly embarrassed by the Hulk. During Loki's invasion of New York, he sat on the top of Stark Tower and watched as a green blur came smashing through the window. Weirdly, trying to reason with the angry creature, Loki was picked up by his ankle and smashed numerous times into the concrete, completely taking him out of the fight until he was sent back to Asgard. Or escaped into a time portal, depending on which timeline we're looking at. The beating was so bad it gave Loki post-traumatic stress years later, and it's really unknown if Loki ever truly recovered.
Puny God.
One of Hulk and Thor's best friends goes by the name of Korg.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Korg. I'm kind of like the leader in here. I'm made of rocks, as you can see, but don't let that intimidate you.
In the comics, Korg was yet another gladiator Hulk met on the planet of Sakaar. Obviously, the Hulk battled him in combat for sport, but during Hulk's revenge on Earth, the two found themselves at odds, and Korg tried to step in and stop the Green Giant. This was a big mistake for obvious reasons, as the Hulk, though he was more in control than normal, was in a mindset that made him want to destroy anyone in his way. Luckily, we have learned recently that Korg can survive as just a face, so even though he lost, I'm sure he's still doing just fine. That mean green fighting machine is a formidable opponent for villains and heroes alike. It's no surprise that of all the Marvel heroes, he's usually the one fighting his friends. Who do you think is the strongest character to have been defeated by the Hulk?